Daggerheart releases another playtest update. Are we getting closer to the game's final form?
My full and unbridled power.
This week, Darrington Press released a new playtest for its Daggerheart game system, continuing a string of monthly playtest updates. It appears that Darrington Press is quickly reaching a final form for Daggerheart, with the latest playtest really focusing on bug fixes and tuning very specific parts of the game. For instance, in the latest playtest update, Darrington Press focused on mixed ancestries, with players now choosing an ability from the top of one ancestry card, followed by choosing an ability from the bottom of the other ancestry card, kind of like Gloomhaven. Now, in a live stream that aired on Tuesday, lead designer Spenser Starke explained that this was a future-proofing fix meant to prevent certain ancestry abilities from interacting with others to prevent broken builds. Now, keep in mind, you can just homebrew and ignore that rule, but this was intended to be their rules as written, as Stark said. Now, in upcoming playtests, Darrington Press is looking at a few more notable changes to the Daggerheart system. They're looking at simplifying damage thresholds with 2 thresholds instead of 3, which means that basically players have to use their armor slots and other abilities to reduce damage to below 1 to not take HP damage during an attack, since there's now no minor threshold. That seems like a pretty notable change, but otherwise, it appears that Daggerheart is starting to move towards building out more GM support with things like campaign frames. Those are basically specific mechanics for specific kinds of campaigns and act similarly to environments or location rules, but on a larger scale and on a more modular basis. And Darrington Press is also working on releasing new locations and maybe a couple other surprises for future playtests. In that same live stream that we talked about earlier, Stark mentioned that they are looking to finish the open beta in July so that they can incorporate feedback, and that this upcoming 1.5 beta will likely be the last playtest before the game's release next year. It's probably not a surprise that Darrington Press is looking to future-proof Daggerheart, as the game is likely going to be a big player in the tabletop RPG space. Now, while some may bristle at the idea that Darrington Press is building a quote-unquote D&D killer, the fact that Daggerheart is looking at different overlays to allow for different styles of campaigns means that they're eyeing some of the versatility that makes D&D 5e such a pervasive system within the current tabletop RPG space. And Daggerheart does have some pretty big built-in advantages. It's basically serving as a bridge between the more wargamey and complex games like D&D or Pathfinder, and the narrative-focused games like Powered by the Apocalypse systems. And to be blunt, its potential player base is a whole lot of players who have never played through a narrative-focused game before, because they've only played D&D. I don't think that Daggerheart is going to immediately overtake D&D and become the D&D killer, but I do think that the system could become the second biggest system at conventions within a year or two, especially if Darrington Press is able to offer continuous support and updates.
Once the game is finalized and is out in the world, just like we did with previous content on Critical Role, like Handbook or Helper and stuff, we'd like to create videos in a similar way down the road that can be wonderful teaching tools for new players to the system as well as GMs. Like, I would love to delve into videos that not just discuss the tenets of teaching somebody how to GM, but showing very welcoming and easy ways to learn the things you maintain as a GM in this game.
Now, of course, there's still a lot that I think that Daggerheart really needs to do to be successful. The playtest documents have been very player-focused, but I think that the campaign building tools still need some work. And I'm also interested to see how adversaries evolve, and whether they're just going to stick to the same handful of abilities that we see in a lot of stat blocks, or if we're going to see a real diversity of different ideas there. I'm also really curious to see how these campaign frame works, as that could potentially make or break Daggerheart's aspirations of being more than a game that offers a very specific kind of experience, which I think is what it does right now. So let us know what you think about the latest Daggerheart drop and what Darrington Press has planned for Daggerheart in the comment section, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.